She began with, I think, the New York Times, very well orchestrated, obviously, onslaught against him. And I read all that and thought, wow, poor Blake Lively. I've got to say, I'm not really thinking that now.
Picture this: Hollywood's most dazzling power couple, beautiful, charming, and oh so relatable on social media. Now, imagine it's all been carefully staged. Yes, I'm talking about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And the latest bombshells from Piers Morgan's investigation suggest everything we love about them might be a lie. We're talking leaked texts, hush-hush NDAs, and allegations of a hidden agenda that could tear down their perfectly polished image. Intrigued? Buckle up, because once you hear these accusations, from alleged early cheating rumors to weaponizing their own kids for PR, you'll never look at them the same way again. But before we dive into these shocking details, I need your help. If you're ready for the juiciest Hollywood drama and want even more celeb tea served hot, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and drop a comment below. Because trust me, you'll have a lot of thoughts by the end of this. All right, let's get into it. If you followed Hollywood's favorite it couple, then you already know the headlines. Blake Lively, the luminous actress first catapulted to fame on Gossip Girl, and Ryan Reynolds, the snarky, lovable star of Deadpool. Together, they've crafted a brand of easygoing wit and genuine affection that has the world convinced they are number couple goals personified. Their perfectly timed social media banter, their red carpet charm, they've become the go-to faces for everything from blockbuster premieres to luxury beverage ads. They're the pair everyone wants to double date with, right? But here's where our story takes a sharp turn. Enter Justin Baldoni, best known for his role in Jane the Virgin and widely respected for championing more heartfelt storytelling in Hollywood. He stepped in to direct It Ends With Us, with Blake Lively in the lead, a collaboration that initially seemed like a match made in cinematic heaven. But behind the scenes, rumors of heated disagreements, secret phone calls to studio execs, and whispered sabotage began to swirl, casting an ominous shadow over the production. Some say it's just the usual chaos of big-budget filmmaking. Others believe it's the tip of a very dangerous iceberg that could sink the public's beloved image of Blake and Ryan. And now, enter Piers Morgan, a journalist known for bold exposés and scorching hot takes. He claims to have uncovered a mountain of receipts, from leaked texts and insider interviews to potentially explosive legal documents. His investigation suggests that the Lively Reynolds charm might be less about love and a whole lot more about strategy. Suddenly, the cracks in their glossy Instagram facade begin to look more like deep, splintering fault lines.
The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively. And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
So, were they just an adorable power couple caught in a stressful production? Or are these revelations pointing to something much more orchestrated, involving hidden agendas, hush-hush NDAs, and PR manipulation at the highest level? Stick around, because the story that's about to unfold could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Hollywood's golden duo. So here's where things start to get jaw-droppingly intense. According to multiple insiders, Blake and Ryan's picture-perfect love story isn't just kept afloat by charm. It's underpinned by a web of ironclad NDAs that everyone in their orbit is forced to sign. Ex-employees and industry professionals speak of unprecedented control over what can and can't be disclosed, from the most mundane details, like a favorite breakfast cereal, to how they behave behind closed doors. Some have even compared it to being under higher security than a top-secret government operation. But it goes way beyond just gag orders. Allegedly, every media outlet granted access to Blake and Ryan must follow a strict set of pre-approved interview questions. One source described an actual binder. Yes, a binder, listing which topics are fair game and which are absolutely off-limits. And if a journalist dares to go off-script, expect an immediate shutdown, icy stares, revoked press privileges, and 0 second chances.
Blake Lively is a complete nightmare. This is an actress that was hired to be in the film, and yet she's asking the director, who's also her lead, for the cuts and the edits, and she's decided to take over the wardrobe, and she gets to choose her wardrobe and they pay for it. That's unprecedented. No one's ever heard of that.
This is the meticulously curated, behind-the-curtain reality that Piers Morgan's investigation is now shining a spotlight on. Even more shocking, the power couple is said to micromanage the very language used to describe them, demanding specific adjectives and glowing references in every article, feature, or social media post. Rumor has it stepping out of line, even once, could get you blacklisted faster than you can say Deadpool. Of course, in Hollywood, managing your brand is normal. But if these details are true, Blake and Ryan have kicked it up to a whole new level, leaving many to wonder just how far they're willing to go to keep that perfect public image intact. But if you thought NDAs and strict interview rules were the end of it, brace yourself. Piers Morgan's investigation hinges on a slew of leaked text messages, and what they allegedly reveal is a power move on an entirely different level. According to insiders, these messages show Blake Lively personally micromanaging how media outlets describe both her and Ryan. Think specific adjectives, glowing phrases, and total avoidance of any topic that might tarnish their perfectly polished image. Even more shocking are the claims that threats were made. Stray too far from the approved script, and your publication risks losing all access to the couple. One alleged exchange shows Blake warning an outlet that if they don't follow her guidelines, interviews, photos, and exclusives would suddenly be off the table. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes conversation that, if true, shatters the sweet and charming facade they've built. But it doesn't stop there. These texts also cast serious doubt on the fairy tale timeline of their relationship, hinting they might have gotten close much earlier than they publicly admit. Some even suggest covert efforts were made to scrub certain photos from the Green Lantern set, fueling speculation that their official romance backstory is all part of the PR spin. It leaves one burning question. Is the couple we see online the real deal? Or is it just another Hollywood illusion crafted to perfection? Just when the buzz around their questionable relationship timeline hit fever pitch, something curious happened. The couple suddenly switched gears and focused on their kids. Critics argue it's a classic redirection tactic. One moment, people are whispering about alleged cheating rumors, and the next, they're swooning over a cute anecdote about their daughter calling sparkling water spicy water. Talk about flipping the script. Social media erupted with skepticism as soon as this pattern became obvious. One Twitter user wrote, "Every time there's negative press about them, they magically show up with a funny kid moment. This is literally the third time I've seen it happen." Another tweet claimed, "I used to love them, but at this point, it feels like they're using their kids as PR shields. So gross." Over on Reddit, entire threads popped up, pointing out how these kid-focused stories just so happen to dominate headlines every time the public starts asking tougher questions about the couple's true origin story. Even tabloids like Starscoop and Hollywood Weekly jumped on the bandwagon. Headlines ranged from Lively and Reynolds deflection 101 to more blunt takes like, how far will they go to protect their brand? While some fans dismissed these articles as tabloid noise, others couldn't ignore the suspicious timing, especially when leaked internal documents hinted that these heartwarming child moments might actually be ready-made stories, just waiting to be fed to the press whenever scandal loomed. Whether you believe the conspiracy or not, one thing's for sure. The conversation swiftly shifted from, did they cheat? To, oh, how adorable. A pretty neat trick if you're trying to bury the more damaging headlines swirling around your marriage. While Blake was stirring up on-set drama, sources say Ryan Reynolds was engaged in a far subtler, yet equally disruptive, campaign behind the scenes. According to multiple insiders, Ryan had no official role in It Ends With Us, and yet he was reportedly making strategic phone calls to studio executives, ostensibly just to check in on production timelines. Harmless enough until those conversations allegedly veered into him, hinting at Baldoni's so-called problematic directing style. And then, the domino effect began. Within weeks of those alleged calls, Justin Baldoni's other projects began hitting unexpected roadblocks. Funding fell through. Greenlit deals stalled. Enthusiastic backers suddenly ghosted him. One producer confided, "We were this close to finalizing a budget for Justin's film. Then Ryan popped by the studio for an unrelated meeting, and everything changed." Now here's where the real conspiracy angle kicks in. No one can prove Ryan said anything damning. There's no clear trail, no direct accusation. And yet, the pattern was so unmistakable, it started raising eyebrows all over town. People began whispering about an invisible blacklist, where supporting Baldoni might mean crossing Hollywood's favorite couple. It created a chilling effect. Projects quietly disappeared. Creative opportunities slipped through the cracks. And Justin's name began triggering mysterious scheduling conflicts. If these accounts are true, it means Ryan Reynolds wasn't just meddling. He may have been systematically undermining Baldoni's entire professional standing, one quiet phone call at a time. With the dust settling from all the on-set clashes and secret phone calls, many assumed life in Hollywood's revolving door of deals and projects would just move on. But insiders claim Blake and Ryan took it a step further, orchestrating a more subtle, more social form of blacklisting. The couple is famous for their lavish dinner parties, gatherings that double as industry summits, where directors, producers, and A-listers mingle, strike deals, and quietly forge the alliances that shape careers. But after the "it ends with us" fallout, Justin Baldoni reportedly found himself off the invite list. One talent manager who attended said Ryan made pointed jokes about difficult directors, and the room went awkwardly silent. The message was clear, without saying a word. If you're still cool with Baldoni, you might not be welcome here. And in a town where private dinners can make or break your next deal, that kind of freeze-out tactic speaks volumes. Suddenly, projects that once seemed tailor-made for Justin were postponed indefinitely. Old collaborators stopped returning calls. Friendly relationships turned frosty. Because in the end, it wasn't just about losing a seat at a glamorous dinner. It was about the ripple effect of Hollywood power players quietly stepping back, just to stay in the good graces of Tinseltown's so-called golden couple. Remember those glowing Instagram posts and interviews where Blake Lively called Justin Baldoni's direction inspiring and visionary? Well, those have all but disappeared. Seemingly overnight, Blake's public stance shifted from "I'm thrilled to be working with Justin" to more guarded statements about creative challenges and differences in vision. Insiders claim this U-turn was no accident. It was strategically calculated, a way for Blake to subtly distance herself from Justin while elevating her own role in the film's development. Former cast members described it as total whiplash. One week, Blake was encouraging everyone to share how amazing Justin's direction was. And the next, she was dropping interviews hinting that "It Ends With Us" only came together because she fought for the right creative direction. The subtext was loud and clear. She saved the production from Baldoni's so-called missteps. Some crew members even whispered that interviews were quietly re-edited or scrapped altogether, leaving behind only the new narrative, one where Blake emerges as the film's saving grace. If these accounts are true, it raises a much bigger question. Did Blake Lively rewrite the story to cast herself as the hero and Justin Baldoni as the obstacle, all to protect her own image? So, after all these bombshell allegations, secret phone calls, carefully orchestrated PR moves, and simmering on-set tensions, where does that leave our so-called perfect couple? According to Piers Morgan, the slick facade they've polished for years could be on the brink of crumbling under its own weight. He even suggests this might be just the beginning of a much bigger Hollywood fallout, one that could see Blake and Ryan's entire empire slowly unravel if more insider stories keep leaking. So, what do you think? Have we reached a tipping point in the Lively Reynolds kingdom, or is this just another round of celebrity drama that'll blow over with a few well-placed Instagram posts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Because if Piers is right, we might be witnessing the slow downfall of Hollywood's golden duo. And hey, if you're here for the tea, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on. Because trust me, this saga is far from over.